I have some unfortunate news. I did not finish my book last night. I think that's what it's called. Have I been calling this the wrong thing the whole time? So I guess I'm going in with like a very open mind. All right, it is day 1 of the 7 and 7 reading challenge, and I'm just not picking up my Kindle. Today's read is going to be Up to Snow Good because it's the shortest book on my list and I have a busy day. It's already 1 o'clock and I haven't done any reading for the day, and we have a birthday party to go to later on. So I'm going to try to sneak in a little bit of reading time right now before I have to leave. I probably have like an hour or so. So I'm going to try to do as much reading as I can right now. I'm curious about this one. The synopsis said something about fans of Beauty and the Beast, which had me confused. I think it's going to be a grumpy sunshine romance, something with a wedding maybe, I think. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm curious about this one. I'm a little bit on the fence. I haven't seen any reviews, good or bad, on it. So I guess I'm going in with like a very open mind. Let's go ahead and start book 1 for the 7 and 7 reading challenge. Good morning, friends. Happy day 2 of the 7 and 7 reading challenge. I have some unfortunate news. I did not finish my book last night. I fell asleep in bed with my Kindle on, which happens more often than I think it does. But I made it to 60% of, what book am I reading? What's it called again? Oh, Merry Little Hate Notes. It's dual POV. It is very much workplace romance, forced proximity. They're kind of forced to work together and partner for the month of December. He is still in love with her, has been since he was like a teen, and she hates him because he hurt her back when they were teenagers and she hasn't forgiven him. So he's kind of come back into her life hoping to make things right, to apologize for what happened, to set the record straight, and hopefully like win her back. So it's very cute. It's set in Colorado, so like the snow winter vibes are definitely there. It's not like blow away amazing, but like I'm having fun. So I don't know, it's like a cute little romance. He has professed her feelings to her, but he thought she was asleep and she was not. So she kind of knows the truth now and is trying to figure out like, is this worth it for me to try again? Obviously they're going to try again. It's going to be a happily ever after. I'm sure it's a holiday romance. That's what we're supposed to do. But I have like an hour right now before the store opens, so I'm going to sit in my car and read. Hopefully finish this one off because I need to start book 2 today, which is going to be Once Upon a Christmas Tree by Lulu Moore. I'm hosting this readathon on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll link it down below so you can follow along. I host this challenge a couple of times a year. So if you are interested in joining in the future, go ahead and follow me and look for an announcement in the future. But my little chat group is buddy reading this today, or at least some of us in the group chat are buddy reading this today. And it's quite short, so I think it's just around 200 pages, and I'm grateful because I still need to finish this one and read that one today. So those are the reading plans. I'll let you know when I finish Merry Little Hate Notes and hopefully give you an update on how I feel about it. Right now I'm feeling like a 3, like it's cute, it's good, nothing terrible, nothing amazing, which is fine. I host these challenges because I have a ton of holiday romances I want to get through, so like they don't all have to be 5 stars, but I'm happy to read them because it puts me in a little mood and it makes me happy. So I'm having a good time. So I will let you know when I finish and give you my final thoughts, and then when we start Once Upon a Christmas Tree. I am currently making my hyperfixation lunch of the moment. It is a ham sandwich. Nothing special, but I've literally had one every day for like the past week. I can't stop. But I do want to give an update on my reading. Apologies if you can hear the washing machine. it's laundry day. But I did finish Merry Little Hate Notes earlier today, and I want to give like a quick, I don't know, final opinion about it. It was fine. It was not my fave. I think the more we read, the less like connected I felt to our characters. And like, it's not a novella, it's 240 pages long. Like, I should have some sort of connection to our main characters, but I just like couldn't get into it. There was so much inner dialogue, I feel like, and it kept me from like really seeing the chemistry between our characters. And I don't know, I feel like it kind of lost the plot a little bit for me. I think I'm gonna give it like 2.5 stars. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever read, and I obviously didn't have to DNF it, but it's honestly not the best holiday romance I've ever read. It just didn't give me like those like cute fuzzy feelings when I want to read a holiday romance. So I don't know, it wasn't great, which is kind of a bummer, but I'm not surprised. Next, I'm going to read Once Upon a Christmas Tree by Lulu Moore. I'm excited about this one. I think she tends to be quite steamy, and this book had like our first kiss on page 235. So I am hoping for a little bit of spice in the next book. I like closed door romances. I like sweet romances. I'm not saying I need spice to like a book, but I just felt like there was very little tension between our two main characters as it was, and the fact that we didn't have any like physical chemistry kind of threw me off a little bit. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. I'm gonna go eat my lunch. I'm gonna start my book. Hopefully I can get through this pretty quickly. It is 12 o'clock. I have to pick up my kid in 2 hours, so I have a little bit of reading. I've got to do some laundry. I've got like some vlogging stuff to take care of, so I do have some things to do, but I would love to get like halfway through our book today before I pick him up from school, because I'm already behind for the day. We are having our second cup of coffee, and I'm going to sneak a little cookie. These were decorated by a 5-year-old. If you can't tell, so many sprinkles. This looks delicious. Will it turn my mouth red? Probably. I can't wait. All right, this lighting is truly atrocious. I apologize in advance, but I did want to give a quick update because I reached the 50% mark in Once Upon a Christmas Tree. I think that's what it's called. Have I been calling this the wrong thing the whole time? Yeah, that's right. Once Upon a Christmas Tree. Okay, this is exactly what I assumed it would be. We have our main character, Alexander, who is a lord in England, and he goes to Aspen with his 3 brothers to escape England for reasons, and he meets Haven, who is like the queen of Christmas in Aspen. She's a local. She runs the local Christmas tree farm and a Christmas shop, and is kind of like the darling of town. And Alexander hates Christmas for personal reasons that have happened in his past, but she loves Christmas, and so he kind of like gets himself entangled into Christmas, into enjoying Christmas things because he wants to spend time with her. And it definitely is like lust at first sight. Like, there's very little depth to this story. I'm already halfway through, and they just want to like sleep together. So I think we'll probably get a couple of spicy scenes here very soon. He's only there for a week, and I think they've already been there for like 3 days. So his trip is almost over. I'm curious to see like what happens in the end, because typically with like spicy romances like this, I have a very hard time believing that this couple will last long term. But I think they have dropped some hints of like, there's a possibility that they could be together if he stays in Aspen for some purpose. I don't know. We'll see. It might just be like a vacation romance, and when he leaves, that's it. But I doubt it, because it's a happily ever after romance. So we'll see. I'm having a good time. It's like nothing amazing, but it's kind of exactly what you would expect it to be. And like the writing is pretty good and like not super cringy. Like the only thing that I'm really cringing at is how much he talks about how much he wants to sleep with her. And I'm like, do you know anything else about her, or just that you think she's really pretty, like that you're attracted to her? I don't know. So it's kind of like one of those, you know, we're here for a good time, but not really a long time. kind of novellas. So I'm having fun, but like it won't be my all-time favorite, but that's okay. We don't need them all to be our all-time favorites. It's better than the last one, so I'll take that as a win. Good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday, day 3 of the 7 and 7 reading challenge. I have some updates. I did finish Once Upon a Christmas Tree. Is that what it's called? I keep forgetting. By Lulu Moore. I'll stick it here. I finished this last night and I thought this was really cute. This was kind of like exactly what you want in like a spicy holiday novella. I think I'm gonna end up giving this one 3.5 stars. I think for what this is, it does what it needs to do. It was like a short, spicy, good time, and I think that's exactly what you want from a Christmas novella. I enjoy Lulu Moore's writing. I did binge one of her series a couple of years ago, and I got it kind of like burnt out on it. I don't know if I can binge romance series like that. I need like a little bit of a break because they're kind of a palate cleanser for me, right? It's not like a fantasy series where you have to like remember what's happening because it's kind of like the same. I mean, not the same thing. There's different tropes, there's different characters, but there's nothing like so important that you have to remember, so you have to read back to back so you don't forget like really important details, right? So I'm glad I've taken a little bit of a break from Lulu Moore because I did really enjoy this one overall. Like for me, it's not a 5-star because I need a little bit more depth, and there was a little bit of conversation, but I mean, they've known each other for like a week. And I will say this is just a prequel to her new romance series. So we didn't even really get like a happily ever after. It was more like a to be continued, which was kind of interesting to me. I was like, oh, this is new, this is fresh. And I am looking forward to what the first book will be in her new series. So essentially this is about 4 brothers. They are lords in England, and the oldest brother is the Duke. The father has passed away and he's kind of taken over his responsibility. They end up in Aspen for Christmas, and this is where Alex, one of the brothers, meets Haven, the Christmas tree girl. The next book, or I guess the first book in the series, as this is just a prequel, actually follows the oldest brother. So we're kind of like switching back to the older brother, and then I think book 2 in that series goes back to Alex and Haven, I am assuming based on the title. So I am kind of like excited about what's coming in this new series. I have heard really good things about her baseball series, and I've heard good things about Or Than Friends. I think that's what it's called. So I might actually revisit this author in the next year. So, I mean, I count that as a win. And then I also started last night. Last night after I finished, I actually read a couple chapters of a few books that have been on my TBR, and some of them were like immediate no's. Just, I can tell by the writing, like I'm not gonna enjoy this book. This is not gonna be for me. This is a little too cringy. So I ended up picking up A World Without You. I don't really know anything about this author, but my Kindle's gonna die. I just got a new Kindle, and you're supposed to have like, I don't know, they give you like 8 to 12 weeks of battery. I've had it for a week and a half and it's already dying, and I think it's because I read more than the average Kindle user, but it's a little frustrating. I have to charge this. Where is this book on my Kindle? Okay, A World Without You by Caitlin Moss. I ended up reading a chapter or 2 of A Novel Christmas and Cabin Mate, both of which were on my holiday TBR, and I nixed them pretty quickly. Cabin Mate for me was like telling me a lot that our 2 main characters were from wealthy families, that they were wealthy, but it was like in a cringe way, and I was like, you're not even like showing me, you're just telling me that they're really wealthy, and I love a rich hero, okay? Give me like rich drama Gossip Girl vibes, I'm here for it, but like it was just kind of cringe. And then A Novel Christmas, I was literally 2 pages in and I was like, this writing style is not for me, so cross those 2 off my list. And A World Without You by Caitlin Moss was actually not on my holiday TBR, but a friend on Instagram recommended this one to me, and it's a really interesting concept. Like the first chapter was really jarring. I was like, did I miss something? Because it's basically like the end of a holiday. It's basically like the end of a Hallmark romance. She's like in this small town that she was stranded in. She calls her boyfriend from the city and she's like, I'm done with you. I'm moving to this small town because it just embraced me and I love this slow life. And I found this like mountain man who I'm gonna love. And then it jumps 5 years in the future and her and the mountain man are getting a divorce. And she's moving back in with her parents. And she keeps having these dreams about her ex-boyfriend and like what their life would be like if she had stayed with him. And it's giving me like Sliding Door vibes. If you've ever seen that movie, it's quite old, but I'm interested, but I'm like, okay, where is this going? So obviously her mountain man ex-husband is no longer in the picture. She's got this ex-boyfriend that she keeps dreaming about. Is he still in the picture? Is he going to be in the picture? Is she going to see him again? And then she's got this like childhood friend that we are introduced to. And I'm like, wait, is he gonna be 11? I'm so confused. There's so much going on. So I am 23% into that. So I did get quite a bit of reading done last night, but there are 310 pages in this book, so it's a little bit longer. But I mean, overall, like, it's interesting. I'm just kind of confused and I'm curious to see where this is gonna go. I really like the writing. It's really interesting. It's keeping me engaged. The dream sequence, like, I appreciate that the chapters have the dates and if we're in a dream or not. But I'm just really curious to see, like, how this is all gonna wrap up and kind of the direction in which it's gonna go. So I will keep you posted on that. Those are my plans for the day. Would love to finish that relatively early, but I do have quite a few errands to run and I don't have an audiobook. So we'll see. It's Christmas time. I'm super busy running errands, shopping, wrapping, baking, all of the things. So I don't know why I decided to do this challenge right now, but you know, we're here for it. We're gonna do it. And I will let you know when I have a few more like fleshed out thoughts about this book. I've got a little after dinner treat, my favorite cookies in the world, a glass of milk. We've got the Vampire Diaries on the TV, the Christmas tree is on, and I've got my Kindle ready to go. I'm like 12% from finishing the book for today, and that will be my evening. All right, quick update. I know this lighting is terrible, but it's nighttime. So I'm just lit by the Christmas tree lights. I just finished A World Without You by Caitlin Moss. I thought this was really cute. It's definitely giving like Sliding Door vibes. I would also say The Two Lives of Lydia Bird. I think that's what it's called. I actually DNF'd that book, but it's giving the same vibes. Like she goes to sleep and she dreams about this parallel universe in which if one thing had changed in her life, the trajectory of her life would be totally different. I will say the romance for me was like very confusing. I think I spoke on that earlier. It kind of sort of worked as, I mean, it did work itself out by the end, but I think it took a while to get there. And I'm trying to figure out like if that was a bad thing or not, because I think it really did solidify that like she didn't need someone to save her. She needed to save herself, and she did save herself, and I appreciated that commentary. But I do feel like it felt a little bit messy there at the middle. And again, that's not a bad thing. I just was not anticipating that. So it's definitely not like an easy breezy holiday rom-com. Like it holds some deeper meanings. It holds like a deeper message of like the choices that we make. Like you can't live in the past. You have to keep making choices and look to the future and move forward, and that we can change our paths with one choice. And sometimes we make the bad choice, and that's okay. We can always make another choice in the future that changes our lives again. So I liked the concept overall. I'm still thinking about this rating. I'm gonna rate this a 3.5 star. I did really enjoy it. I obviously have some things that I didn't love about it, but I did enjoy it. It's just not like a all-time favorite, which is fine. I appreciated it for what it was. So yeah, I had a good time, and I think it was different than what I was expecting, which is kind of a nice surprise during a 7 and 7 holiday romance readathon. I am trying to figure out which book I'm going to read next. I think I'm going to read Christmas at Fox Ridge. I have a little bit of time. It's not even 9 p.m., so I might go ahead and start that tonight just to get ahead of my day for tomorrow, because I do have quite a busy day tomorrow, so I would love to jump ahead. But for now, I've still got Vampire Diaries on. I'll probably download Christmas at Fox Ridge and just like read a couple of chapters before bed. Hello, it is Wednesday, day 4 of our 7 and 7 reading challenge. I wanted to give a quick update because last night I started Christmas at Fox Ridge. I think I told you I was starting that one. That's today's book. And I'm kind of like buddy reading it with some of the people in my chat, which is kind of fun. I mean, I say buddy reading, it's just we're all reading it at the same time. That's it. I made it to 40% last night, and I was enjoying like the first third. Let me backtrack. Okay, this book is about Ara and Lucas. Is that his name? Yes, Lucas. Lucas is the brother of Ara's best friend. The first time they meet is at her best friend's engagement party, and they have like a one-night stand. They really enjoy their time together. They have like a nice connection, but then they don't see each other for 6 more months. And Lucas lives on a farm, and it's kind of going through a little bit of a rough patch financially, and he has been convinced by his sister to convert one of his cabins to like a Airbnb, like a luxurious Airbnb for the city folk to like come out and kind of enjoy like a slower paced life for a few days to give him some extra income. And his sister convinces Ara, without Lucas's knowledge, to kind of be their like test subject to see like how everything works. Is it a good spot? Are there any like problems, right? So Ara shows up. Lucas doesn't know it's her, but they immediately are attracted to each other once again. And I think the first like third, I was really interested in it. Like I liked kind of their connection. We get a little bit of spice in like some flashbacks, but it's not too much. And we're seeing that like, oh, there's a possibility here, right? Like they're both kind of lonely in their own lives. So this may be like a really great opportunity for them to connect and be together over Christmas. At like the 30-ish% mark, we hit a spicy scene. And then in the next chapter, there's immediately another spicy scene. And there were just some word choices used that I did not like. And it kind of gave me the ick, to be honest. And like immediately I was like, I don't know about him. Like he's not giving me good feels. So I'm not sure how I'm feeling now. I'm at 40%. I'm going to read in the car for like a half hour. I would love to get to the 50% mark before then to be like halfway through this book, but it just really turned me off. I'm hoping that it's just that little bit of spice, but I'm not feeling good about it so far, which is such a bummer because I really want like an incredible book in this readathon. So I'm gonna have to struggle to find a couple more books because I don't think this is gonna be it for me. All right, we need to talk about Christmas at Fox Ridge. I finished it. It's the same day, a few hours later. And I honestly like skimmed the last 30% of this book. I'm so disappointed, to be honest with you. And I haven't read anything by Bailey Hannah before, so maybe this is like par for the course and this author is just not for me. And I don't want to yuck anyone's yum when it comes to like spicy romance books, but like this was not it for me. I like really got the ick by our male main character. Some of the things that he was saying to her, I was like, no thank you. That's so disrespectful. And I kind of got the feeling that like our FMC was surprised by what he was saying or doing, and like Later on, she was like, oh, it's okay. And I'm like, but was it? I don't, I don't know. And I'm so bummed because I think the concept is actually really interesting. And I did think the end was like pretty sweet. It was kind of rushed. I mean, this book comes in at under 200 pages. So like, that's a lot of spice for less than 200 pages. And I'm so disappointed. Honestly, I'm giving this book like 1.5 stars. I really need a win because I liked the last 2 books that we read, but I didn't like love them besides, you know, this one obviously and the first one I read. So like I really need a book that I'm going to love. And I just don't know what that is because I feel like I read the 2 books that I was going to love already before this video started. I read The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year and Holiday Romance, and I loved both of those. So I'm just feeling a little discouraged. Like, did I read the only good ones before I even started my 7 and 7 reading challenge? Like, that's so disappointing to me. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at my list. I feel like some of the holiday romances on my list are much too long, like over 350 pages for me to read in a day. So I'm really gonna have to take a look at my holiday TBR and figure out what we're reading next because I'm really frustrated at this point and nervous about what's to come. We have 3 days left, meaning I have 3 more books to read, and I don't know what I'm gonna read. I'm feeling super discouraged. I've DNF'd 3. I've really not enjoyed 2 others. It's not going well. Please send thoughts and prayers. Last night on my Kindle, I found Christmas by Design, and that's gonna be my book for the day. It's a little novella. It's pretty short, like 120 something pages. So that's my book for the day. I'm gonna sit down for like an hour and hopefully just like knock this out. Not because I'm kind of not regretting this readathon, but I'm not having the best time and I really want to turn it around. So I've heard pretty good things about this one. A friend of mine who I respect her book choices really enjoyed this, so I'm hoping this is a win. I also have a couple of things to do after I finish this, and I know that My Christmas Darling by Lauren Asher is on audio, so I'm going to put that in. I would love to get like a little bit ahead because there are a couple of books that I want to read that are just over 300 pages, and if I had like an extra half day to finish it, I think I would be able to read like a longer book and not, I don't want to say settle, but not like have to force myself to find a book to read that I don't necessarily want to read just because it's shorter. So those are my current plans, and I only say that because I do have quite a few plans on Saturday, so I know I won't have enough time to just like sit down and read a 300-page book, so I really need a little bit of extra time. So that's my current plan. I'm gonna sit here, knock this out. It's so cold in my house right now. And I just worked out, so I feel like I should be warm, but I'm still like freezing. So I'm gonna cuddle up in a blanket. I'm gonna put some like instrumental Bridgerton music on, I think, and just read this book. And I will let you know my thoughts when I finish it. Yay, I finished Christmas by Design. This was so cute. My biggest complaint is that this book is too short. I wanted so much more from this, and not in like a bad way, but like I just wanted more. I think the story itself is very cute. We've got two coworkers. He's an interior designer, she's a project manager, and they are working on a house together over Christmas. She's a single mom. She has a 2-year-old. She lives at home with her parents, and she's trying to get like on her own. She's very independent. She's very much like, I can do it. And I think it can be a little detrimental to her sometimes because she doesn't like taking handouts, but she also like just doesn't accept help. He is from a single mother household. It was just him and his mom growing up. She didn't have a lot of money, so he kind of understands her, but now he's older. I think he's like 10 years older than our FMC. He lives on his own. He's very much like clean lines, white walls, no nonsense. She is like this bubbly, messy woman, and she just like barrels straight into his life, and I think in like the best way possible, and kind of mixes things up for him, but he also provides some stability for her that she needs. And we've got a little bit of a spicy scene where they're like forced to be together, and I think it was so cute and well done. And I'm trying to figure out the difference between Christmas at Fox Ridge and Christmas by Design, because both were short, both were spicy. This was much less spicy than Christmas at Fox Ridge, but both like, you know, there wasn't a ton of deep conversations because the books are very short. Like we got to get to the point pretty quickly. I think for me, Christmas by Design was just more sweet. We got a little bit deeper into the characters in like a very quick manner. Like we jumped straight to the chase. There was no dilly-dallying in like their issues or something that they had to confront in their lives. Like it was very quick. And I think that's kind of why I wanted more. Like I needed more. Like I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed these characters. I needed more from it. And Christmas at Fox Ridge, the MMC turned me off so much in his language, in the way that he approached the spicy scenes with our FMC. And there really was very little communication between the two about their personal issues or just like their character in general. It was very much like spice and nothing else. So I think it's interesting seeing how similar these two books were, but also different at the same time, and why I really loved one, or I really enjoyed one and like really didn't like the other. So I don't know, it's just a interesting like juxtaposition for me. I think I'm gonna give this book like maybe 3.5 stars, somewhere in that realm. I think I'm hesitant to rate anything in this vlog like 4-star because nothing's like, oh my gosh, I really loved that. And not in like a 5-star way, but like I did have a great time reading it. I just wish there was more. And I don't know, I think that's typically how I tend to be on holiday novellas, and maybe I need to like reevaluate how I'm rating these based on the content and the quality of the content that we're reading. But that's just how I'm feeling. I think if you're looking for like a really quick holiday romance that's gonna get you in the mood, it's got a little spice, it's got a happily ever after, like I would definitely recommend this. It took me like just over an hour to read. It sits at like 120 pages, I think. So, I mean, this might be perfect if you're looking for like just a quick, spicy, good time. I would recommend. I am going to pick up my Christmas Darling next. I have it on audio. So hopefully I'll get through quite a bit of that today. And then I'll have a couple of days to read like a longer holiday romance on my TBR. So stay tuned on what I pick next, but I'm super happy with that choice. And like, I feel like better than I did last night, which for me is a big win. It is Friday night. I have severely overestimated my ability to finish this challenge. Now, I will say I have finished 6 books of 7. Tomorrow was the last day, but I have been, as you know, kind of discouraged about the books that I'm choosing, and I have read like the first few chapters of probably 10 books this week to find one that I actually like. I finally found one. I'm very excited about it. It's called Since We've No Place to Go. It's a rom-com. It's on Kindle Unlimited, obviously, but it is a full-length novel. It's like over 300 pages. But I was like, you know what? It's worth it for me. It's fine. I have 2 days to read it. Cool, whatever. I have not done any reading today, well, that's a lie. I listened to a book. I listened to My Darling Christmas by Lauren Asher. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. I don't think I'm the biggest Lauren Asher fan. That's okay. It did its purpose. It was like 5.5 hours long on audio, so I breezed through it pretty quickly. But I think I assumed I could read a full-length novel in 2 days, but it is 10:30 on Friday, and I am 7% in. So I need to like cruise. I have lots of plans tomorrow, so I don't know how I'm going to read this, but I'm going to stay up kind of late tonight trying to finish this thing, or at least get like halfway would be ideal tonight. Good morning. Same place, different time. It's Saturday, the final day of this reading challenge, which I'm actually kind of looking forward to because this has been, I don't want to say harder than normal, but like, you know, you've watched this vlog. I haven't like loved these books as much as I was hoping to, and I've had a lot of misses. So I'm feeling a little discouraged and like I'm ready to move on, but we have one day, one book left. Let's get it done. Last night I got to 34% in Since We've No Place to Go. This is giving baseball vibes. I don't know if I gave you a synopsis last night. We've got our FMC who works for a Major League Baseball team. She works in the front office, meaning she does like the business side of things. And then we've got our MMC who is the star of said baseball team, and he's kind of a showboat. She doesn't really like him. She told him so while he was in costume and didn't know who he was. And she feels embarrassed about that, but they end up going to the same conference, and he's injured, so he's kind of helping out in front office stuff. So they kind of have to work together a little bit and kind of work out their issues, but then he kind of starts to like her. And I don't know what's going to happen because the conference that they're at is about to end and I'm at 34%, 38%, something like that. So I'm curious to see. I know on the cover there's a car. I'm assuming at some point they're going on a road trip. I don't know what will happen in the rest of this book, but I'm having a good time. The banter is really fun. I think it's a sweet romance, so I don't think there's any spice. And sometimes I can just tell in the language that they use that there's not going to be any spice. But I'm enjoying it. The writing is good. It's keeping me engaged. I'm having a good time. If you don't know, I am a huge Dodger fan. We are a big baseball family, so it's kind of fun to see like the inner workings of an organization, and like I know kind of what they're talking about and the language that they're using, which is really fun. So if you are also a baseball fan and like romance, this might be a good option for you. And it's just nice to read about baseball in the off season because we've got a few months before the season starts again. So this has been like a nice little jump back into the baseball world. But I'm going to enjoy my coffee. I've got BOOKMAS videos on the TV and I have my Kindle, so I'm gonna read a little bit. The boys are out right now, so I have a little bit of quiet time. I would love to get to like 50% before I have to put it down. And then hopefully I'll find another 2 hours at some point to read the last half of this book. All right, post readathon editing Chelsea here. I have once again forgotten to finish this vlog. I really need to be better about that. As I was editing, I noticed a few things. First of all, I mentioned a book in the first like 3 minutes of this video that I never mention again, and that's because I DNF'd it like at 10%, along with several other books that I DNF'd throughout this reading challenge that I never mentioned. So I just wanted to clarify that in case you were wondering what happened to it. I just DNF'd it. I also never gotten the name of Lauren Asher's book correct in this vlog. I am so sorry. I think it's called My Darling December. Like, I honestly still cannot remember the name of this book. Yes. Oh, no. My December Darling by Lauren Asher. I listened to this on audio in this reading vlog, and I think I gave this 3 stars. It was fine. Nothing to write home about for me personally. I know several other people really enjoyed this book, but for me it was very mid. And I do need to tell you my final thoughts on Since We've No Place to Go. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I thought it was super, super cute. I loved the romance between our FMC and our MMC. There are some like deeper things that we talk about throughout this book. Both our MMC and our FMC are dealing with things from their past with their mothers. So there's a little bit of a deeper discussion about loss and grief and kind of disappointment. So if that's a trigger for you, please be kind to yourself. There's a great family dynamic in this book with our FMC, and I love how our MMC kind of joins in on that. It's very cute. So overall, I really enjoyed this. I think it is a sweet romance, so if you're looking for some spice, this is not the book for you. If you like baseball and you like romance set at the holidays, I think this would be a great option for you. For me personally, I think this reading challenge was a little bit of a flop, but I will continue to do 7 and 7 reading challenges because I enjoy doing them. I think it's a great challenge. I used to do this challenge like 4 times a year, and my life just doesn't match up with that anymore, so I'm unable to do that. But I do think I'll be doing another one of these probably in the springtime, so keep an eye out on my Instagram if you're interested in joining, because we have a lot of fun. I also think I need to be more particular about the books that I'm picking up, because as you can tell in this reading vlog, I didn't have the best luck in the books that I was choosing. So that's something to think about for me in the future. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you had a good time. I hope you got at least one book recommendation from this video. Please go ahead and subscribe if you like this video, if you like bookish content. That's what we're here for. So hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Bye.